Hello everybody and welcome back to Operation Logistics, where I'm kind of at a loss. Where do we go from here? We've been doing roads for so long, but they're working now. I shudder to say, they're done. I don't think there's anything else to do on roads. So with that being the case, what do we do next? I don't know. I think at this point, one thing we can do is we can remove these successful things. Let's go ahead and say adjacency failure, and let's say go ahead and toss in the subhexes i.gameObject.name. Okay, and let's get rid of our attempting to fix as well as our successful, because we only need to know now if it fails. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and move this up to the four-way intersections as well. So if this fails, we need to know about it, but we don't need to know about it if it's successful now, because it's just expected that it's now successful. Okay, so our sub-hex manager is currently, 1,000 lines of code, so there's that. Let's go ahead and open up if I open in Notepad++, no, I don't want to update Notepad++, not right now. Okay, so let's open up our design document here, and let's take a look at what we can do next. So we've got a hex-based hybrid business sim and puzzle game, and we've currently got roads. Are they static, or can you lobby to increase speeds and or build additional roads yourself, or possibly have the government build them? No, they are static. Roads are what they are. I think we can safely say that. Ports. Are they static, or can you build them even if you have no waterfront? Why would you be able to do that? Oh, I think that's asking, do you build your own ports, or do you use existing ports? I think you build your own ports. So lobbying. I think lobbying is a good idea. We've got our multiple layers of hexes, so we can go ahead and say that this is done. Procedural level-based game in which you have to get every address serviced in the most efficient manner possible. Yep, construction of logistics network that delivers quickly and profitably. We're not there yet. So our parcel service we have not started yet. We are working on our map generation, I guess I would say. So let's go ahead and hop into here, and let's look at our NPC structures per biome. So we're going to need at least one model for each of these. So there is that. Now, yeah, these are per biome. Okay. So we go through and do our road generation probably after we would generate the rest of our buildings. So let's go ahead and right here, generate non-road buildings, and then we'll override those. We'll overwrite those even with our actual buildings. So the question then becomes, we've got 3 NPC structures per biome for most biomes, but we don't have more, or we don't have 3 for forest. So forest and clearing. What else can we have? That's a good question. I would like to have a third one. And then we're going to need some sort of weighting system, some sort of weighted RNG. So there's that. So let's go ahead and let's see, we've got our biome determined already, correct? So we've got our biomes here, which is in sub-hex, I think? No, where is this declared? Let's see here, go to definition. Okay, right here. In the sub-hex manager. So we've got residential, commercial, industrial, forest, farmland, town. Yes, that's fine. So let's go ahead and do a switch, and this is going to be on manager.selected subhex, and we're also going to go ahead and move this down to after we determine if there's a selected subhex, because that would, be handy. So I'm going to place this right here. So manager.selected subhex.biome, and then we're going to say case biomes dot commercial break, case biomes dot farmland break. Actually, I'm not going to do it this way. Biomes dot industrial break, case biomes dot, and this will be residential break. And down here, case biomes dot farmland, because these are now the rural areas, break. Case biomes dot, and this one will be our forest, break. And then case biomes dot town, break. And then just a default. This is a default fall through debug.log. And this is going to be manager.selected subhex .gameObject.name plus generating default buildings shouldn't happen. Okay, so that should never happen, theoretically. Now, we are not generating any non-road buildings, and it bears noting that we don't actually have any meshes for any of these buildings. So we're going to need at least one mesh for each type of building, and we're also going to need to determine how exactly do we go about making this be a making this be a thing, is I guess what I'm looking for. So with that being the case, we can kind of rotate things randomly-ish for a lot of these, but first things first, I think forest is probably going to be our easiest one to do. So let's go ahead and pop open... You okay there, Unity? Okay. Let's pop open Unity, and let's go into our meshes buildings, and I'm just going to pop open our road here to have a quick way to access Blender. And now I'm going to just go ahead and file, save as, and this is going to be forest.blend. Okay, so I'm going to delete this and save this, and I'm going to then create a quick circle. No, not a UV sphere. What am I doing? Okay, create a circle here. Make sure that this is located at 0, 0, 0. That's just a guide for us. And now I'm just going to go ahead and model a really quick, really low poly tree. I'm going to base it off of a cube, and I'm going to have the 3D cursor at 0, 0, 0 because that tends to help. There we go. And let's go ahead and bring this up to a position of 0, and then scale on the x-axis to be about 0.1. On the y-axis, about the same. Now, we don't need this face, and we don't need this face. Like I said, this is going to be very low poly, and realistically, maybe I should make this hex. This could be a hex. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this in. Yeah, I kind of like that. I'm going to make this be about 0.01, thereabouts. Maybe 0.02. Yeah, I think that looks pretty decent. And I'm just going to extrude this on up to be about... something along the lines of 0.4 tall. And then bring this on down to be 0. It can come to a point. And then we'll just remove doubles. And I think we need to... Tools... Shading UV. Here we go. Recalculate. So that way we're facing out. That tends to help. I'm going to duplicate this and just grab it on up and place it right around here. And have this be about 10 times the size of the trunk. Extrude this up to be a little bit taller than this point, which is at 0.4. So 0.45. Scale that down to 0. And I think 10 times is maybe too much. Maybe at around 7.5 times. There we go. I am going to put in a face there. And then just go ahead and remove doubles again. Like I said, this is just a really, really fast, really low poly tree. We're going to go ahead and, well, recalculate that. There we go. Excellent. I also think that this should be lowered a little bit. Down to about maybe 0.1. Yeah, that's decent. Okay. So I'm now going to split this off so that we have our guide and our tree separate. And let's see about maybe setting up an array modifier to do this a bit automatically. Now, we do probably want to do... Actually, instead of doing it like this, what if we were to do a particle system? And then have it be an object. The object that we have here would be something along the lines of... Let's see, where is it? Yeah, we want it to be an emitter. I forget where the actual object selection is. It's been a while since I've done this. Let's see here. I know you can do this. Display. And also we're going to need some faces here, so I'm going to go ahead and triangulate this for now. We'll delete this later on after we make the particle system be an actual object. But first I need to figure out where exactly you choose the object. Oh, object. Here. Dupli object. Circle. Okay. So you can now see it's created some very small trees here. Let's have the size be 1, so that it's the same as our normal trees. And we currently have 1, as far as I can tell. We don't really want it to be rotated along any axis except for, in this game, the z-axis. Or game. In Blender, the z-axis is the only one that we want it to rotate around. So, let's have there be no physics. Rotation would be... Let's see, where is our randomization here? We also want it random, emitting from faces. That is good. Emitter geometry. Yeah, normal of 0. There we go. So let's also have a bit of random rotation in here. And I only want it to be on the one axis. I know that's possible to do. But for right now, this'll do. Okay, so lifetime of... Actually, start of 1, end of 1. Okay, there we go. Lifetime of 1 frame is fine. We don't need it to exist beyond this frame. And then I think 1,000 is maybe a bit overkill. I don't know about you guys. Let's have it be a bit more along the lines of... Not 25, obviously. And I do want to move this tree over to here so that we don't actually see it. Let's think about how we want to do this. Maybe something along the lines of 50 trees? That should be decent. We could have them distributed on a grid. Or we could just have them jittered, and I think jittering is fine. There we go. Some of them, as you can see, are kind of growing together. I don't know if there's a way to do a minimum distance between them. I mean, that's kind of what the even distribution is supposed to do, I think, or the particles per face. One thing we could do is we could subdivide this a few times. So that way we have ourselves a little bit more distribution possibility. Apparently that doesn't work. That's fine. Okay, so let's continue messing around with this. So let's... Well, we can have some random to the scale. I'm okay with that. We'll make this like 1.1. And then have about 0.1 randomness. Oops, 1.1 randomness. Nope. Hang on. Where did they all go? Oh, I cleared the dupli object. Okay. There we go. And then we can have this be a random of about 0.1. But actually we can make this be like 1.5, theoretically. And have this then be a random of about 0.5. So that way we have pretty substantially different heights of each one. And let's also consider that we do certainly want some random rotation. So around the global z-axis, we want it to be... Yeah, we do want some random rotation, but our initial rotation... Yeah, this is not really what I'm looking for. Let's make it object z? Nope. Object y? Nope. Object x? Nope. Normal tangent? No. Just normal. Nope. Angular velocity should be vertical, probably. Or just none. Okay, so how can we get this to stand back up, then? So we've got our emitter geometry. That's not really what we're looking for. Initial orientation, global z. I mean, maybe we could just rotate this. And then apply the rotation. That seems like a terrible idea. Yeah, that didn't help. I'm gonna put that right on back. And I'm trying to remember, I've never really used the particle system that much. I know that this is very possible to do. But there is a way to stand them back up. I don't remember what it is, but I'm going to turn ambient occlusion back on so that we can kind of see what's going on here. And I'm also going to save this. And I want to check to see if we need to apply the modifier for Unity, and it would appear we do. Okay. So we are going to need to apply that, and I'm just trying to remember what... I mean, obviously that wasn't going to help, but I was just checking there. Let's do random even distribution. We do need to stand them back up. There's no doubt about that. So let's go with no initial orientation. And that makes it so nothing changes. And then normal, they're all facing that way. Normal tangent, they're all just kind of facing that way. Hair velocity. Okay. Well, that's close. I don't mind having them have a little bit of rotation on one of those axes. Global X. Global Y. Global Z. And then object X. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind them having a little bit of rotation there, but this is not exactly the axis I want them to rotate around. So instead of doing that, I suppose we could potentially... simple children or interpolated children. Yeah, we don't need children. We could manually do it, but I really don't want to do that. And I also want to get them spaced a little bit more evenly. So there is that as well that I would very much like to do. So hypothetically, what happens if I take this in edit mode and rotate it, actually in object mode, and rotate it 90 degrees this way, apply that rotation, then come back over here. No real change. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. I forget so much about the way this particle system works. Yeah, we're not going to emit from vertices, probably. Emit from faces. Rotation of 0. Yeah, I mean, I do want there to be some random rotation on multiple axes. And I'm wondering why it's not letting me do that. Angular velocity axis global z? Doesn't seem to do anything. We have physics turned off. We have some randomness to our scale, which is exactly what I wanted. But I'm just not sure why it's not letting me rotate this around the z-axis. That's a little bit weird. Yeah, I don't know. I can rotate it around the z-axis when it's rotated that way. That's exciting. Maybe I need to make it into a hair? Now I just don't see any of them. Probably because the hair length is too low. Or because it just isn't there. We obviously want it to be an emitter, so that's completely fine. Then we just turn off the rotation and do it manually, I guess? I don't know. That shouldn't be necessary, though. I know you can do this. I just can't remember exactly how. What if we do take the rotation, and then rotate this 90 degrees like this, and then make this object Z, Y, X, global Z, global Y, global X, normal? Ah, yeah. That's how forests look, after a mech goes through them. Oh boy. So we don't need any angular velocity, realistically. Normal tangent, velocity hair. Okay, let's move this back over here. I want to be able to see what actually happens as we rotate this along certain axes. Okay. Nope. Rotate X. Rotate Z. Oh, there we go. 90 degrees. So it just has to be facing that way for some reason. Okay. That's a little weird. And then we can rotate these to some degree randomly. Like so. So now they have some random rotation to them, and let's just get ourselves some different seeds here so we can see. It's not that even, this distribution, is it? Not that even at all. Is there some way? I mean, we can paint. We can weight paint it, theoretically, via vertex groups. So let's go ahead and do that, actually. Let's make ourselves a vertex group. And this is going to be tree weight. Okay. And then let's go ahead and have our density be tree weight. And let's go into weight paint. And let's just paint ourselves some weight in here. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to go ahead and actually have the weight be 0, and I'm going to clear all of this. There we go. And then with a weight of 1, I'm going to have a strength of 1. Actually, a strength of about 0.25 on all of it. And actually, I'm going to click right in the center, and I would like this to be... I would like this to not have that much of a curve, probably. But let's go ahead and have the strength be back to 0.25. Place it right about here. It's not going. Accumulate. Why isn't this going? Oh, because I have it on blur. There we go. Okay. And then about 0.5, 250 pixels wide, right in the center again. 0.75, 125 pixels wide. No, 125 pixels wide. There we go. And then 1, about 64 pixels wide. There we go. And then I will just 0.25 this. And we'll do this number. Okay. So that gives us a distribution that looks kind of like that. So let's head back into object mode and let's just see if we can find some way to force them to move apart by a certain amount. I mean, we could do it on a grid. There's no doubt about that, with a much higher resolution, potentially, and randomize it to some degree. So we could have it be something along the lines of this, which I suppose could work, looking at it. That could be fine. Okay, so I'm also going to go ahead and grab this object here. I'm going to move it back over here for now. And we're going to need to go ahead and put on our materials. So I'm going to go ahead and grab all of these right here. In fact, I'm just going to grab everything, and we're going to put on the palette material. And then in Unity... Oh, I just noticed the time. It's time to put in a cut, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we will texture this and get this imported in. See you all then.